Bees are an important part of the environment and play a major factor in our food industry. They collect nectar to produce honey for food. Bees pollinate over 100,000 flowers a day. As they travel from flower to flower collecting nectar, pollen is transferred between the plants. 40% of our food relies on the pollination of bees. Bees pollinate fruits, vegetables, corn, and nuts. In fact, bee pollination benefits over 30% of crops and 90% of wild plants in the world. In 1 year, $15 billion worth of crops need bees to grow.
Starting in 2005, 30 to 90% of American beehives began disappearing due to a newly discovered problem scientists called colony collapse disorder. Colony collapse disorder, or CCD, is a phenomenon that causes whole hives of bees to disappear overnight, abandoning the queen and babies without leaving clues such as dead bees to indicate disease. There are no definite causes of CCD, but experts believe it is caused by a variety of reasons such as modern farming and gardening practices, diseases, mites, and habitat destruction. Recently, the pesticide industry has grown by approximately 7 to 8%, and more homes and farms are beginning to use pesticides to protect their plants. As bees transfer pollen between flowers for fertilization, they are harmed and weakened by the pesticides on the plants. Monoculture, which is the farming practice of only raising one kind of crop, does not provide a sufficient habitat for bees, which need diversity to thrive. On farms with monoculture, there is not enough nectar or pollen from only one kind of plant to sustain the bees. Another practice that hurts the bees is that they are often fed artificial sugars and corn syrup in inorganic beekeeping instead of the natural honey they produce. This is unhealthy for the bees because it lacks the natural nutrition that strengthens them. Some commercial beekeepers also use a chemical called miticide to kill mites and pathogens in the hives. Even though it temporarily protects them from illness, it weakens their immune systems. Because of the decline in bee populations across the country, people have started to ship bees in trucks to farms in need of pollinators. The sudden change to a different environment confuses the bees and tires them. Some farms use genetically modified seeds to increase their crop yield. These seeds do not have the natural immune systems against bacteria and have to use artificial bacteria-killing chemicals. These chemicals get into the soil and onto the plant and harm bees. The low doses of pesticides over time in beehives are harming the bees, weakening their immune systems. Some commercial beekeepers kill the queen after a few months and replace her with a new one. A normal lifespan of a queen is 5 years, and the constant introduction to a new queen disturbs the beehive. Some experts think this contributes to CCD. All of these practices are believed by scientists to be contributing factors to the crisis of colony collapse disorder. To help prevent CCD, everyday people can make small efforts to restore our world's bee population.
An easy way to provide a sufficient environment for bees is to plant a variety of blooming plants in your yard. If you live in an apartment, you can put flowers on your windowsill to welcome pollinators. Beehives need a nearby water source to thrive. A shallow bird bath with pebbles would be ideal for the bees. Using natural bug repellents or organic pesticides in your garden and cutting down on the use of artificial pesticides will help strengthen the bees' immune system. Also, when using pesticides, instead of spraying everything, try to target the specific plants where the problem is. Try not to use pesticides when bees are foraging. Purchasing organic fruits and vegetables will promote natural farming, which benefits all pollinators. If you happen to find an unwanted beehive on your property, it is important that you do not spray the bees with bug spray. Instead, immediately contact a professional bee removal service. Be careful around the hive and make sure not to aggravate it. Keep all children and pets at a safe distance from the hive. Africanized bees are a species of bees that are known to be more aggressive than other types of bees. You cannot tell if a hive is Africanized unless genetic testing is performed, so you should be careful and respectful of any beehives you may come across. If the bees are not Africanized, the bee removal service will be able to safely relocate the hive. Spraying the bees will kill them before they can be identified and safely removed. If you see a swarm of bees, don't panic. A swarm is the normal way for bees to form new hives. The queen and half of the worker bees leave their hive and explore the area for an ideal location. Swarms look like a large clump of bees that can be found on a fence, mailbox, or in trees. Swarms usually move on within several hours, so people should not disturb them. If you are worried that a swarm will settle on your property, you should seal up any small areas that bees might build a hive in. Remember not to aggravate a beehive or swarm. All bees will be aggressive when they feel threatened and will try to defend themselves. Bees are extremely important for our world, and we cannot afford to lose them. We should all do as much as we can to preserve our bee populations while being safe.
A one, a two, a 1, 2, 3, 4.